So first thing, graphs of, well, it's for all of them, but I'm just going to say graphs of tangents, so on and so forth, because we're not doing everything else. You already have those in your notes somewhere, or you should. So like I said, we're just looking at tangent. Did y'all have with the parent functions for, predominantly I'm talking about tangent, but did it tell you like what the formula for like period, vertical asymptotes, and all of that are? Was that in there? No.
I don't see it with those, no.
Okay, with your parent functions, they weren't in there?
No.
Okay. So.
Oh, like, at 0, I don't know, I have at 0 signs. I don't understand my notes, but I did write something about asymptotes.
Let me find what I'm looking for.
Are you talking about like the notes on the side of the graphs, or?
Yeah.
But I'm saying like you had like written notes for sine and cosine. Did you also have written notes for tangent is what I'm asking.
I just had the parent functions, and then I have a thing that says asymptotes at 0 of cosine for tangent, and then I have asymptotes at 0 of sine for cotangent. But
Okay.
that's about it.
So for tangent, then we've got basically the period is pi.
You put the dot as period. I thought that's what you're using.
Oh. One full cycle is from pi over 2 to 3 pi over 2. There is no amplitude. The domain is all real numbers except odd multiples of pi over 2. The range is all real numbers. The x-intercepts, so where it crosses the x-axis, occur at integer multiples of pi. The vertical asymptotes occur at odd integer multiples of plus or minus pi over 2. And then we'll just say under this, the graph completes one full cycle between consecutive vertical asymptotes. And we'll say tangent is an increasing function. Or like it is increasing. Yes.
What are we allowed to use cookie points for? Like, what are we allowed to point out? Like, if there's a writing error?
No.
Okay.
I mean, you can tell me if I spelled something wrong, but you don't get a cookie point for that. Did I spell something wrong?
No, it just, the VA would be occurs, right? Like S after the end.
I don't know. Is it
No.
vertical asymptote or vertical asymptotes?
I think when
It's
she wrote
plural.
it was plural.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you seen my math book? Like, has anybody bought one?
I have my math book.
That's not going to be
That would
helpful.
help you though.
I do not have it. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I need to look at something. That's what I needed. Okay. All right. The period for tangent as far as finding it is pi over b, technically absolute value of b. And then the vertical asymptotes are odd multiples of pi over 2 times the absolute value of b.
So is the
Everything we wrote up top is technically for the parent function, not the shifted function.
Okay, so
This is like in general, if it's not just tangent of x, this is what you would use to find it. All right, so just a couple of them. We're not graphing them or anything other than, again, you need to know the parent function, but to find just these two things for tangent functions. And if it's been like shifted, we'll do that too. But 20. We've got f of x is equal to the tangent of x over 2. So this is the same thing as saying the tangent of 1/2 x, so that you can see the b value. So the period for it would be pi over 1/2, which would be 2 pi. And then vertical asymptotes, we've got pi over the 2 times the absolute value of 1/2. So the vertical asymptotes are at odd multiples of pi for this one. And is anything else happening to this graph? Is it being shifted or reflected or anything?
no.
Nope, that's all that you would have to do on that one.
How are we gonna be graphing?
I'm not going to answer that question. I've already answered that at least 5 times today alone. 22. y equals negative tangent of x. So the period is pi over b, or the absolute value of b, so that's just pi over 1, so that means it's pi. So what's the vertical asymptote?
Pi over 2.
Yep, pi over 2. Because b is just 1. Is anything else happening to this graph?
Is it reflected?
It's reflected, yep.
It's reflected because A is negative, right?
Yep. Now, there's no amplitude to this one, so there's no, like, you know, like there's no max and min value of this graph. But the whole thing would just be flipped upside down over the x-axis with that negative sign out there. 28. Y equals 2 times the tangent of pi x and then minus 2. So they really probably should have done this for how it's written, but. All right, so what would the period for this one be? What?
Wait, don't we find the amplitude? No, this is only for tangent.
So period would be pi over pi, which is just 1. And what about the asymptotes?
Pi over 2.
Yeah, pi over 2 times the absolute value of pi. The pi's cancel, so it would just be at 1/2. This one would be more difficult to graph from the standpoint that it's not like increments of pi, which is like what makes it like easier to deal with. You could still do it, obviously. It would just be harder if we were actually doing it. What else is happening to this
Down
graph?
2.
Yep, down 2. Now, this number in front, even though it's not like our max and our min value like it is with sine and cosine, it still is going to affect the graph. If I choose x values to plug in that aren't on the asymptote, it's still going to give me a value that would help me. Basically, it would just make it go up like steeper and go up quicker. So, all right, that's it for that. So we're going to move over into looking at some of the videos with the other stuff. If you want to write down stuff from the videos, you can. I'm not going to be like pausing the video for you to have time to write it down. If you want to go back and copy all the stuff down later, it's on College Board. You can go back and rewatch it and write stuff down.